Welcome back to Quinte Connection for this episode. Thanks so much for joining us as we're learning more about coping with the cold winter weather right now, hoping to get to spring, but there's certainly a lot of great opportunities to get out and enjoy the weather, regardless of how cold it might be. Joining us now is Derrick Spafford from Spafford Health and Adventure. Derrick, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me, Lindsey.
Whereabouts are you based?
I'm based out of York, Ontario, so just a little bit east of your neck of the woods.
All right, so you're a friend of our producer here, Ann Workhoven. She tells me that you wanted to get outside, run outside in the winter, and you found snowshoeing. How does your story start?
Well, I've been a trail runner, a long distance runner my whole life for going on 40 plus years, I guess. And I've always enjoyed running trails more than roads or track or treadmill, that sort of thing. And when winter comes along, there wasn't really much of an opportunity to try to stick to running on the trails. So I heard about snowshoe running, and there were some people doing it. There were some races happening. So searched out some snowshoes and gave it a try, and then started hitting some races. And then we started organizing our own series in Ontario here.
Yeah, you're behind Dion Ontario Snowshoe Running Series. What makes a good set of snowshoes to run with? Because when I think of snowshoes, I think of the traditional Indigenous ones that I had, maybe let's say at the Frink Center about 10 to 15 years ago.
Yes, actually, I've got a sample here too, if you'd like to see it, of the a traditional snowshoe compared to a running racing type snowshoe.
Yeah, so go for it. If you want to get them quick, if you can, we'd love to see them.
Sure, I've got them right here. Well, this is your traditional snowshoe, wooden frame. This is probably similar to what you've worn in the past, going out and trying it. And of course, something like this, you can't really imagine trying to run in. So it's even just walking them, you have to take a pretty wide stance. So the running snowshoes have evolved quite a bit since then, and this is the a competition snowshoe. Lightweight frame, super easy to run with, narrower, you don't have to take a wide stance, and then a good cleat system to give you traction.
So what are they made of these days predominantly? Because when I think of the new technology, I'm wondering about weight and what size should go with the right person. And
yeah, well, this one's designed specifically for running. So there are other models, like this is more of your traditional hiking snowshoe now, but you can see the running ones are quite a bit smaller. The weight is, you're only looking about roughly the weight of a pair of running shoes, so just roughly about a pound each. So they're a very lightweight aluminum, with the decking and then the aluminum alloy cleats to give you the traction. So it's the whole idea is to be super light and to allow you to run just as you naturally would on trails or on the road. It's very, very comfortable motion, especially because you don't have to take such a wide stance.
So with all this experience behind you and all the knowledge for sure, Derrick, what are some of the big accomplishments you've had on the snowshoes?
I've done a little bit of everything. I've been, as I said, I've been running my entire life, and I've done races like the Yukon Arctic Ultra. It's a 100-mile race in the Yukon that's billed as the coldest and toughest race in the world, and so that's been one of my main accomplishments, finishing that. And I've done it a couple of times, and one time better than the other time, but had a lot of fun at it. So.
What are some of the big things you've been able to do this winter so far?
This year, well, we've had spectacular conditions. So, I mean, you can go for a snowshoe run anywhere, whether it's, on a golf course, on a multi-use trail, just in your backyard. There's lots of different places that you can snowshoe. So it's with the amount of winter that we've had, all the heavy snowfall, it's just been a paradise for snowshoe running and racing this year.
So for you, how does this Dion Snowshoe Running Series work?
Well, it's open to people of all ability levels. We have people who have competed at the World Snowshoe Running Championships, and actually we had one of the winners of the World Snowshoe Running Championships a few years ago at one of our races. But we also have people that come out to the races who just want to go for a walk, jog, and sometimes more walking and talking along the trails. than running, and that's okay. I mean, it's if you can walk, you can snowshoe, and so we welcome everybody out. And we've got 6 races across the province right now. So hopefully there's something in that anybody can get to without having to travel too far.
Yeah, and Ann was telling us there was one in Prince Edward County, but it got canceled. Is there a next one coming up for people?
Well, the next one is actually in Cornwall. We had it planned on having another one in Kingston, but with January not being a good month, the next closest one will be in Cornwall. There will be another one in Mount Hope, near Toronto, and another one just outside of Ottawa as well. So still lots of opportunity within a couple hours drive of this area.
Are there clubs in this area for people to want to try?
Not really any clubs. We have a lot of people who we set up demo days and just some workshops and clinics. Of course, it's been a little bit more of a challenge this year with COVID, getting out to putting some of these events on. But people, even if they don't have a pair of running snowshoes, they can sign up for any of the races and they can rent snowshoes at the races. We'll provide them, it's just a very inexpensive rental fee, and you're good to go. So.
Yeah, you never know until you try, and like the Olympic athletes that we've been seeing on TV, it's amazing how they start out. So, Derrick, snowshoe running, does it have a place in the Olympics?
Absolutely, absolutely. We've been our series has been working very closely with Snowshoe Canada, which is not just for the competition end of it, but is also for as a recreational activity. But one of the big pushes that we've been trying to do is get snowshoe running into the Olympics. I mean, it's a natural. It used to be in the Olympics many years ago, but it would be so great to get it back in the Olympics now, and it's just perfect. I mean, there's so many countries that have good snow conditions who compete at the Winter Olympics that we're really hoping that we can push this forward for sure.
What was it like when it was an Olympic sport? How long would the course be, let's say, or the distance people would have to run?
I'd have to check my memory a little bit more, but it's I can't remember the exact distances that they were running, but they were of course using the big wide snowshoes and the wooden frames, and I think it was a little bit more of an endurance walk type of event as opposed to with the running snowshoes now you can run almost as fast as what you would normally run on the roads or track or trail. You might slow down, be a little bit slower depending on the snow conditions, but the people who are winning these races, they're flying pretty quick.
Well, thanks so much for educating us on this, and wishing you and the team well, and looking forward to seeing this finally an Olympic event. Once again, Derrick Spafford, really appreciate you taking the time. Thank you.
Thank you very much.